Hey Geekly, Kikai Wafra here, and today pull up a stool, grab a cold one, and maybe keep your creative work in a locked safe, because we have got a messy one to unpack. We are talking about the streaming wars, massive production budgets, and a little thing called plagiarism. You know, that thing you get expelled for in college, but apparently get a multi-million-dollar budget for in Hollywood. Today's topic is the show The Hunt on Apple TV+, or rather, the show that was supposed to be on Apple TV+. Here's the lowdown. This was going to be a big, gritty French thriller series produced by the legendary studio Gaumont. It was scheduled to drop on December 3rd. We're talking days away. The posters were up, the trailers were running, the hype machine was spinning. But then, poof, gone. Apple scrubbed the site, deleted the promos, and pulled the plug indefinitely. Why? Because allegations came out that the show's creator, Cedric Anger, didn't exactly come up with the idea himself. The accusation is that the show The Hunt is a direct ripoff of a novel from 1973 called Shoot by Douglas Fairburn, which was also made into a movie in 1976. And when I say ripoff, I don't mean they just share a vibe. The French media journalist Clément Garon pointed out that the plots are basically twins. In both stories, you have a group of hunters in the wilderness. They run into a rival group of hunters. One guy gets shot. The group kills the attacker in retaliation, and then they decide to cover it up and go home, only to get paranoid that revenge is coming for them. Gaumont has paused everything to conduct a thorough review. Now, let's be fair for a second. Let's play devil's advocate here and look at this from the corporate angle. You have to give Apple and Gaumont a tiny begrudging nod of respect here. In an industry that usually denies everything until a judge bangs a gavel, they actually stopped the train. Playing a show days before release is a nightmare. It costs a fortune in wasted marketing, it upsets shareholders, and it leaves a hole in the release schedule. By hitting the brakes, they're technically doing the right thing. They're saying that intellectual property matters, and they're not going to air something if there's a legitimate chance it was stolen from another artist. If this really is a copy, pulling it protects the legacy of the original author. So on the surface, this looks like integrity. It looks like the system working. But it's when I started thinking about the timeline that I started to twitch, because this is where we get to the total BS part of the equation. We need to talk about competence. How in the world does a show get pitched, written, greenlit, cast, filmed, edited, and marketed without anyone at a trillion-dollar company realizing it might be a photocopy of an existing book and movie? We're not talking about an obscure blog post here. Shoot is a known property. Do they not have legal teams? Do they not have clearance departments? The fact that this was caught by a journalist on Twitter after the show was basically done is embarrassing. And frankly, it feels like Apple's asleep at the wheel. This isn't even the first time this has happened recently. They just pulled another show, The Solvent, with Jessica Chastain, right before it was supposed to air. It paints a picture of a streaming service that is just throwing cash at creators without actually checking the homework. It's insulting to the audience, and it's definitely insulting to the original authors. It makes you wonder, are they actually curating content, or are they just desperate to fill the library? It feels like they're banking on us not noticing, or hoping that if they put enough gloss and high-definition cinematography on a stolen idea, we'll just applaud and say, wow, so original. It's lazy, it's cynical, and it wastes everyone's time, including the actors and crew who worked on the show and had nothing to do with the writing. Anyway, the article with all the details is in the description. See for yourself. So, Geekly, you're the judge. Is Apple the hero here for pulling the show and protecting copyright at the last second? Or, as I suspect, is this just proof that these mega streamers have zero quality control and are just making it up as they go along? Let me know what you think in the comments. This is a teaser, not the full ride yet. Seriously, did they actually dare? Click the link and watch the real wrap on Apple TV.